In all of my spare time, this is, my two little hobbies.
The two hobbies, your coffee truck, and their coffee shop, and your food truck, both of which are PULP RVA. One's in Lakeside, and then the other one obviously around town. And so tell me, how did you arrive at wanting to do something like that?
I was, actually I worked corporate for a while. For about 8 years, I worked in vaccine sciences, ironically.
Sciences?
Yeah. And
wow.
Some life events happened. My dad passed away after we completed my triathlon together. So I decided to do a triathlon in his memory. And during my training, I made a lot of smoothies for myself. And then I was really inspired after the triathlon to come home and actually open a smoothie truck. And so I did. A year later, after I came back, I opened PULP. And then about another year later, I came back from another trip where I went to Sardinia and studied, and I worked on an olive field and a vineyard and learned about the coffee culture. And I came back and I opened a coffee shop that is European inspired.
Well, okay, wait a minute. So you've totally blown my mind here for two or three different things. Number one, first of all, you've done a triathlon. Now that's pretty impressive. I didn't know that about you. Is this something you do regularly, like the Tough Mudder, or is this something?
Well, not anymore. But I used to do triathlon like 2-3 years ago.
Like the Ironman?
I did the Ironman. Yep. And I did two. The first one for my dad was in Australia, and the second one was at Lake Placid. And then that's when I started to get into the whole coffee shop build out.
So you in viral sciences, and then all of a sudden triathlon, and now you're making smoothies. So I guess that explains the name PULP.
Right.
RVA. Well, that's
exactly.
Pretty awesome. And so you've been doing that now for how many years?
We're on our third year now.
Third year. And so did it start off with a truck, or did it start off with Lakeside?
Started out as a truck. We were a truck for about a year, and then we expanded to a cozy little spot on Lakeside.
Well, that's pretty awesome. So tell us about I mean, you've gone, I got to back up. I'm intrigued about this olive peel thing. You said something about olive peels. What was that all about?
Yeah. So about 2 autumns ago, I went on a trip to Sardinia, and my friend and I, we worked on an olive field, on olive grove, and we also worked on the vineyard. And so the coffee culture in Italy is very dynamic, especially in we lived in a very rural area, so everything is just kind of around coffee. And it was just such an honor to be there and learn about their culture and how they, how coffee fits into their life. And I found
coffee's amazing there.
Right, and I found beauty in how they use coffee to enhance relationships. So that's why I came home and I was very inspired to do the same thing.
Wow, so that morphed from the truck then into now you have a physical location in Lakeside then.
Right, yeah.
That's pretty awesome. So you've been, you're at the forefront. I mean, you're in viral sciences and you're in the food industry, the entertainment industry. 2 big industries are completely affected by what's going on.
Right.
You're still doing viral sciences, right?
Yes. So I am back doing research back to corporate, especially at a time like this where it's very needed now. So the shop is open. We are doing truck events on the weekends only. Now the shop on the weekend is closed for now because of the how everything's been affected. But hopefully, with time, we'll have to see, when we'll be back. We'll be back on weekends, but we just have to wait and see until things have cleared up.
So you said how things have been affected. I mean, we all know we've been stuck in the house. You know, I'm in my dining room right now at the dining room table. I've been here for working from this table for 6 weeks now. And, you know, I know that that's affected you and your business significantly when it comes to the store as well as the food truck. So what are some changes that you've seen happen that you've had to adjust to?
Yeah. So for myself and including a lot of local food businesses, we have become 100% contactless. So you know, pick up, takeout, deliveries by DoorDash or Uber Eats or Grubhub. Those platforms are fantastic right now. You know, we're all going through this right now, not just me. So, you know, I feel like the community has been overall very supportive and mindful about their shopping. I think it's really important right now to be intentional in where you go to eat and consider going to a local cafe or a restaurant or food truck if they're conveniently there in your neighborhood. All of that's really important because it's going to dictate, you know, who's going to be open in the future. Obviously, we want to see everyone at the end of this.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you have a valuable business, and I've seen your truck around town several times, and I know you do a quality product. There's no question about that. So what are some of the, I mean, you've made some changes and you've talked about food truck locations on weekends. First of all, how do those get organized, and what makes something like that successful? If we were to try to do one for a neighborhood, like maybe the one I live in here, or maybe another one downtown, and we're trying to support you and your business, what kind of capture rate do you need? How many people do we want? 6 trucks? Do we want 2 trucks? What are we looking for when we're doing something like this?
That's a really good question, and I think that there is a great misconception about that. While it is fantastic to have a site for food trucks to come to, I think it's really important for people to understand that in order to truly help food trucks, it's better to have less food trucks for that area. General rule of thumb, 200 to 300 people per food truck is how a food truck can become successful in that area. And right now, time is everything. So if you do want to have options in your area, like let's say you want to have 2 or 3 food trucks, your community, be prepared, needs to have, you know, 800 to 1,000 people to serve. Now that's just a general rule of thumb, and some people will, you know, have different scales, but for the most part, it's a general rule of thumb.
Okay,
And
so organizing one of those is not as simple as it sounds. And it sounds like you really need to get a good group of people to come out. So what events are you doing right now?
So for now, residential areas, communities are really important, and these communities, you know, they need the service as well. So that's an important crowd for all food trucks in Richmond. Right now, we are at south of the James Market part-time. That's actually our first year this year.
Nice. Okay.
So we'll see how that goes. We're excited to be there though. We've done a couple of residentials already, but we are about to hit, you know, hot temperatures, you know, the true beginning of the food truck season. It's been pretty, you know, it's during the winter, it's harder for food trucks.
Right.
Summer times are obviously better. So it'll be interesting to see the behavior of the virus during the summer as well, because I suspect, this is just a guess, but you know, we will see less cases in the summertime, hopefully. And so,
well, you're the viral person, so I'm betting on what you're saying.
but yeah, it's I think that in my experience, a lot of people have been reaching out, and we're very grateful for that. to see like, hey, we'd love to have you in this community, or what are you doing this weekend? And simple questions like that via social media, or if you just go to their website, are all acceptable forms of communication. So people have been doing it, and it's been so wonderful.
Okay, so now you've been talking about contactless ways of ordering, whether it's from the food truck or from your store, your bricks and mortar, PULP RVA, Lakeside. What are some of the platforms that you're using in order to make that work?
Yeah, so the first way to start is with your POS system.
Okay.
For example, I use Toast, and Toast has we have a website through them that you can order pickup. The other way is through the platforms like DoorDash. If you go to DoorDash and just type like our name, you'll find our menu, and then you can have it delivered straight to your door. Uber Eats, Grubhub, all of those platforms are really important right now, especially if people can't or aren't allowed to leave anywhere.
So if you have your website, do you have your website handy you can share with people where they can go and order online?
We do. There it is.
So there it is, pulpfictionrva.com. That's a great place to order. And you do, is my understanding is you do smoothies, because that's what you started with, Ironman smoothies. Ironman, that's who you got to talk to right here.
Ironman
smoothies, coffee.
Coffee. Mm-hmm. We have espresso-based coffee. We have a lot of really fun, interesting coffee beverages that have been uniquely engineered. We have bagels, bagel sandwiches. Let's see. Yeah, yes.
You do wraps as well, if I remember right.
On the truck, we do.
On the track, okay. And pastries too, did I hear that right?
Yep, we do pastries. So we work with WPA, and they supply our pastries. So give credit to where it's due. They do a fantastic job delivering gluten-free and vegan pastries. So that's what we sell.
Okay, now how are you handling it now in these days? Because I mean, we're having a hard time finding toilet paper. So what are you doing at the restaurant? I would imagine that you're having a hard time getting certain things.
That's a really good question. So I think it's really important to remember, for everyone to remember right now, that restaurant owners, managers, cafes, food trucks, we're all going through very similar experiences, just like everybody. I think it's really important to understand that, because we do have a reduced inventory list. There are things that just aren't available anymore. They're not being imported anymore, or at the moment. So we have to have a reduced menu. And that's just what it is for now. But we are finding ways to make unique products with the ingredients that are at hand. I think that also is important for people to understand, like, about supporting local business. One thing
That's my next question, so I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to say was, I know that this is a very stressful time for everyone. I think that if a business isn't, serving to someone's liking, or they're unhappy with the service, which, if they have every right to be, that's totally fine. But I think that the person should communicate with the business and let them know, instead of blasting them online when this is such a very hard environment already.
So I'm going to say it because I know you're having a hard time saying it. In other words, if you're having a hard time with a business, be an adult, go to the owner and talk to them.
Exactly. And, I'd be willing to bet that owner is going to be more than happy to make the product the way you want it, refund you, etc. But at this time, we really do need all hands on deck. We need to be working together as a community and realizing that we're all just trying. We're all just trying to make it. The other thing is, a lot of people have been asking me, how do I support you? And I know that this is a difficult situation again, because a lot of things have changed. You know, the unemployment rates are so high, and businesses are also struggling. And the beautiful part about what I've been seeing is that even businesses are supporting other businesses by promoting them on their social media. And I encourage the same thing for everyone to do that. Even if you can't, you know, buy from that business, it's still such a gift to share about them on anyone's, you know, on your personal social media. You know, here are my favorite restaurants. That truly does help a lot. So I encourage that a lot. I think that's beautiful.
So during this time, it would be a good idea for everybody to, you know, get the same sort of grace that they would like to receive, and in essence, pass that on to the business owners who are just trying to make it through this crazy time. And in your case, you're working 3 jobs. You're working still at the viral technology place doing research, trying to help people get past COVID. You're doing RVA Lakeside, PULP Lakeside, and PULP RVA, which is the truck, right?
Yes.
And so, I mean, you know, people out there, I know that we're not in a typical time. So I think that this is a pretty amazing thing. I'm so glad you shared some of that with us. I am still very interested about this olive peel thing. Tell me this olive peel thing one more time, because what were you trying to get out of the olive peel?
So we harvested olives. We harvested them. We made olive oil. It was really neat to see how olives are grown. How, like, what kind of olives are there? We went
You go out with a big stick and kind of hit the tree and get them to fall down.
Yep, we totally did that.
Yeah, there's no easy way of getting them off the tree, is there?
It's for sure. And honestly, the hardest part is the net. Like putting the net down on the tree, like at the bottom
Right.
is the. And so when the olives fall, you know, how do you collect them? It's with the net. So that net is super heavy. So you need at least 2 or 3 different people to help. You know, we all work together. And so the way olives grow, they're on a hill. So right. So you know, we would set up the net. And so we would have like barriers to like elevate the net so that they don't fall all the way down and go waste. And then we would pick up the net and then like walk up the hill. But we had like 20 different trees that we did that to. And of course it was really hot. So there's a lot of things that, you know, farming, agriculture is very difficult. And I have so much respect for people who do that. And I'm very thankful.
See, my farming is going to Kroger or Food Line and grabbing that can of olives off the shelf and putting it in the cart.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not a good farmer.
Yeah.
I've tried to grow things before and they just don't grow for me. So what would be some parting words you as a restaurant owner would like to share with the community at large? What is a way that we can organize, help you? What would be, if you were to leave people with one thing, what would be that one thing that you would like to have them know?
I think that it's really important that people understand that business owners are really grateful right now, especially right now, for your business, for your you know, for like, it is a business, but for me, it's like, wow, you know, the community is truly supporting us. And I just want to say, like, on my end, I see that and I'm grateful for it. And my biggest priority is to reciprocate, you know, be that strong community partner in return. And so I think that the number one thing is, you know, truly be intentional with where you decide to, you know, buy your goods from, because it is helping a family. It is helping someone, not someone, but the whole team of people.
You've got employees too, right?
I'm sorry?
You have employees as well. So it's not just you and your business. You have employees that are staffing these things and helping you through it. So you're supporting one family, you're supporting probably 4 or 5.
Exactly. Right. And again, anything helps, even if it's, a post on Facebook or an Instagram or whatever social media you're using. Any kind of visibility helps right now. So that's what I would say.
All right, well, give us your website one more time. We'll put it up there. I'll make sure and post it with everything else. So there it is, pulpfictionrva.com. She's got 2 locations. She's got a location in Lakeside and a truck that she's mobile. What are you doing this week? When is your next appearance with your truck?
The next one will be at South of the James the next Saturday. We just had one, this previous one. So the next one,
So that's this week?
The 23rd.
23rd. Okay, so on the 23rd, look for Pulp RVA or Pulp Fiction RVA down there at what again? South of James?
South of the James Market, 8 to 12 p.m.
Okay, fantastic. 8 to 12 p.m. All right, people. So all right, thank you so much for having us. And I'm actually going to probably bother you a little bit further when I see you next time, or at least a little bit about those shakes. Because if you ran a triathlon doing that kind of stuff, there must be some power in those things.
There is. There's a lot of power in the green.
Okay, well, there you guys have heard it. Greens.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you so much for joining me. All right.